Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her by... Oh fuck, what episode number is this?
357.
Woo!
Whoa, really?
357! And we are not in heaven, we are in Cold Station 12, because we done got brought there by the Augments.
Those
See what I did
dicks.
there? Ha-ha!
Ah, very good.
So we're wrapping up this three-parter, one of several this damn season has.
Most of them.
So I'm not sure why this took three parts, but the Augments, now with their father, one of too many Soongs, go to Cold Station 12, where all of their sibling embryos are being held in stasis because, and they're gonna steal them. And oh, by the way, conveniently, Phlox's letter buddy, Dr. Lucas, works there now. And the
I gotta say, it's not convenient. I don't like who they cast. Go on.
Fuck. Lost train of thought.
Dr. Lucas.
Yeah, Dr. Lucas, and so there's hostages, and the Augments are all like, let's torture a dude to get information out of them. And Soong is all like, I guess. But it turns out Soong is going a little bit that guy in The Rock, and like there's a lot of bluffs he doesn't really want to follow through on.
Who's in The Rock?
The guy, oh, I can't think of, is it Ed Harris's character? Yeah, Ed Harris's character. It basically, like, it is all a big bluff, and when his soldiers find out it's a bluff, they turn on him. Just like this.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, so they go, and Archer and crew follow, and Soong is like, back off or we'll kill people. He's like, fine, we'll back off. But while he backs off, he beams on.
Back off, beam on.
Take Udar with them. Udar is another Augment who they found at Data's base camp there. What's his?
He's actually not an Augment.
Auric? I can't remember
Udar.
which Soong this is.
Oh, this is...
It's John Jacob Jingleheimer Soong. His name is my name.
Eric.
Eric.
Or
Eric's-
Elton?
Adam?
There's
Alton
so
Brown?
many songs.
I'm just calling him Soong.
That's
So
for the
anyway,
best.
Yeah, Soong, Soong's little camp, which they had left. Smike was like one who, for some reason, the augmentation, aside from hearing briefly, didn't take. They call him Smike after a disabled character in Nicholas Nickleby, apparently, and he's totally down with that. When Archer, for once, does a nice thing and tries to use his not insulting name, he's like, call me a bitch, Archer! And Archer's like, I am so confused about what I'm supposed to do anymore.
Can I go back to torturing people? It was easier then.
There was only one decision. How much torture?
Seriously, Udar is very lucky he didn't meet Season 3 Archer. Who does, though, decide to bring him on the rescue mission, which gets Udar killed
Who
for,
saw that
no
coming?
reason. Yeah, seriously.
Literally everybody.
They had
Archer saw it coming. Come on.
They had previously killed this one doctor to try to get information out of Lucas, but Lucas was like, no, security. But then they threatened to kill his buddy Phlox, and he's like, never mind. And
Never mind, this man I've not met in the flesh before, ever.
Yeah, so they give him the embryos and he leaves, and Malik secretly sets the place to not self-destruct, but flood with every disease ever.
Why do they even have a button for that?
Seriously. And they, we segue into part 2. Archer saves the day. Hooray. We do not mourn over Udar at all. Like, he could have just totally not been in this, and it wouldn't have changed a fucking thing. Augments is many, many scenes of Soong and Malik having a power struggle.
Ugh, and Malik being fucking disgusting.
Yeah, Archer fooling Klingons, then not fooling Klingons. And then Persis helping Soong escape, because Soong's like, oh, my boy's a crazy boy, and is upset I want to make the other Augments not naturally angry. And they blow up the ship, and fucking Malik pulls a Khan and, drags himself over to a console. But unlike Khan, Malik doesn't kerplode himself. He actually beams over to the Enterprise, because apparently the Klingons have transporters now. And Archer literally shoots a hole in him. And then we get a really stupid prequel ending where Soong is like,
Ugh.
maybe robots.
Read alarm.
But it will take a couple generations.
It might not be until
next
the next generation.
Where does he sire a kid? He's in prison.
Maybe he already has.
You know.
Then why does he care about all these augment kids?
He just grows one in a test tube or some shit.
Don't
and throws it out the window.
I think he smuggles some of his own DNA out somehow. Like maybe he uses one of his writing papers as a jizz rag.
Oh, I was gonna say he just comes into an envelope and mails it to a friend.
Yes.
Actually,
it's like dripping and sodden.
You know, this
Awful.
this would explain a lot. I mean, it's not a spoiler because it's in the trailers, but as we know, many Soongs show up in Paramount Plus Trek. And they're all, of course, Brent Spiner.
So
maybe
many Soongs.
all the Soongs are actually just clones of each other.
We've posited this
talked
before.
about this.
Have we? Sorry,
yes,
I
we've
forgot.
talked about this a lot.
Well,
Chris.
considering this Soong is a geneticist, I'd say it adds to that theory.
That was the theory that not just this Soong, but that
all of them, fucking all of them,
even the Soong from Star Trek Picard.
Both of them.
And they're all clones of Jango Fett, right?
Basically.
Oh my god,
yeah,
why?
could have done without that button.
They set up the Soong from 2024, his stupid button preview, wink wink, is Project Khan.
Oh, right, in season 2.
So they set it up that he's we know he's a geneticist because he was making daughters.
Yeah.
And now he's going to go make augments, apparently. So they've set that up already.
I hate all of it.
What a terrible time to be alive.
How long before we get Star Trek Soong? the complete saga of the Soong dynasty.
You know, it'll probably be sooner than you think.
It's gonna have to be CGI. They can't. There's only so much you can age down Brent Spiner, as they showed in this episode.
They'll get a new actor.
No,
what?
just
No, that's fucking
You get a new
impossible.
actor.
animated.
It's in his contract.
Guys. Animated.
That's what I said.
That's actually not a bad idea. I mean, the best new Trek has been Prodigy, so it does seem like it's working. You know,
when they don't cancel your show.
Yeah. So, what are the Soongs are basically the science fiction Blackadders, you know?
I don't get the reference.
They're dickheads is what they are.
No,
I think we've talked
that's
about this
true.
Too,
Yeah,
that,
they're the worst.
The only good Soong is Data. Like every other one is a mad scientist or an asshole.
Well, that's
for
the thing.
sure you were gonna say is a dead one.
Well, that thing when you look at even the initial Soong, Lore, is an asshole. It took until Data for one of them to go, maybe I should program out the Soong predilection for dickheadery.
Yeah. Yep.
But make the cock bigger, definitely.
Yeah,
something for the ladies.
There's no Brent Spiner has really only played villains and Data. And B4.
B4, yeah.
Yeah.
B4 is not complex enough to be a villain, though.
He
wouldn't understand.
He ends up a pawn in a Romulan, needlessly convoluted scheme.
Yes. But yeah, so anywho...
This was too much episode.
Yeah, I don't think it needed to be a 3-parter, for Christ's sake.
I don't know if it needed to be a 2-parter.
Well, isn't this what Scott Bakula was saying, was maybe if they hadn't made so many 20-part episodes, we could have got this done quicker?
Possibly, I don't quite remember.
I think he didn't like the length of the season was 26 episodes, and it didn't need that many.
Oh, so he we could have, if we had less filler.
Yeah, I don't know what he thinks about 3-parters in particular.
Fair enough. Well, if I were him...
if you had condensed this into one episode and just made the season 2 episodes shorter, that would have been fine.
Are we going to say that about all the 3-parters this season, though?
I'm willing to bet
yes.
That's the thing. When they have this 3-parter, at least it seems to me they kind of planned. It's not a great plot, but at least it's all the same plot, and it doesn't seem like, oh no, we don't know how to end this because they just ended it the obvious way.
Yeah. I love that it didn't occur to them until they went to the camp and found the missing incubators that they were like, what if he wants the other embryos? Like, you mean the crime he already committed and maybe that should have been one of the first things you checked on?
Seriously.
Well, also, like, why hasn't... Okay, so this Cold Station 12...
Has no security.
Has no security. So this is like the most dangerous place in the galaxy because it's got all these pathogens. It's got these augment embryos.
Dr.
Which, by
Lucas.
the way, those were not fucking embryos. Those were fetuses. That they showed. Like embryos are microscopic. those were fucking...
But the audience wouldn't understand if they didn't see the little floating jelly beans.
Yeah, gross.
But anywho, yeah, so you got this place, and like, okay, smart move putting it on an asteroid so that if anything goes wrong, you know, you can
send
contained.
Bruce Willis.
You can blow it up.
Well, that's the other thing too, right? So like, I don't know if any of you have ever seen the Andromeda Strain.
No.
Anybody?
Heard of it.
So it's a movie from the 70s, I want to say.
Yeah.
About an alien pathogen that lands on Earth, and it's super deadly. But there's these scientists that are trying to research it, and they build this lab that is underground, and it's, you know, totally secure, completely contained, like, and of course somebody's trying to, you know, steal it or something.
Natch.
And the lab has a failsafe where if the pathogen is going to escape, there's a nuclear bomb that will destroy the lab.
Whoa.
Good.
But of course, spoiler alert for a 50-year-old movie, the alien pathogen grows when exposed to radiation.
Oh no! That's not going to help at all.
So the problem is our nuclear bomb is not exactly going to help in this scenario. But anyway, yeah, so the fact that the station didn't have some sort of containment lockdown system where it like totally would shut everything down.
Well, they have self-destruct. Does that count?
Yeah, but
only if you're Janeway.
It was trivially disabled by playing music really loud on the radio or something.
Yeah, just like Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah, exactly.
See, here's what's really dumb too, is when they first get there, Soong is like, I had all this access when I was here, and then Lucas is like, yeah, and because you abused it, they changed the protocols.
Yeah, and you stole embryos, so they changed it. Turns out
that was a lie.
True.
So they didn't even do the sensible thing and be like, hey, this happened once, let's make sure it doesn't happen again. Instead, they just made the next person pinky swear they wouldn't do what Soong did, and were like, good enough.
So is this a Starfleet station or is it a Denobulan station? Because there were Denobulan doctors there, and like there was a Denobulan shuttle that was the one that they hijacked.
So
the Denobulans had to get there somehow.
It was supposed to be like a joint human Denobulan project, even though, again, there was like one Denobulan scientist and one Denobulan shuttle pilot, because that gets expensive. But yeah, there's like apparently Starfleet security there based on the uniforms, but they don't have rank pips, which is weird.
They weren't Makos. They should have been
Which
Makos.
you think they would have been?
I suspect they probably had to call the whole thing off because the Denobulans wouldn't stop fucking everybody.
And stealing all the food.
Yeah.
No celery was safe.
Speaking of which, Phlox was bulking up for his hibernation again.
That cake looked good.
It did.
It did.
I wanted
Which
that
one?
cake.
He had several cakes.
Either cake,
I only
but
saw the one in the foreground. Yeah,
The
foreground cake
definitely looked better than the background cake, but still,
the background cake looked like a pile of like lobster mac and cheese with sprinkles on it or something. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Well, that was like his entree.
Yeah, what was it?
Everything.
Lobster
it
was lobster mac and cheese with sprinkles on it. That's what.
Yeah.
Probably.
Is that what you say? Thank you, Chris.
What he did is he just walked around the mess hole.
The mess hole, I'll say.
Oh my!
That's what I call my mom.
The mess hall, and just like picked random bits off of other people's plates to make his own.
Oh God!
Denobulans fucking love potluck. If we assume, like Phlox, they all enjoy stealing other people's food.
If by potluck you mean swinger parties, then yeah.
Both.
Denobulans are into it.
Did you ever see there's a great Always Sunny episode where they go to an orgy?
Oh no.
so like Dennis's character is like trying to get into like the crazy Euro sex scene.
Sorry, which one is Dennis? I know it's not Charlie Day.
Glenn Howerton.
Is he the thin fellow or the chap with the beard that owns Wrexham with Ryan Reynolds?
No, the former.
The thin guy.
Okay.
The other is Rob McElhenney.
He's like, I really want to get into like this, Euro sex scene, sexy ladies and stuff. And
my sweet summer child.
Danny DeVito's character, who plays his father on the show, is like, oh, well, back in the 70s, I used to be really in the orgy scene. So, we should go to an orgy.
No.
So Danny DeVito takes him to this place, and they're like, what's the password? And they're all wearing masks, like eyes wide shut.
Right.
They're like, what's the password? And he's like, the password is orgy. And then they go in, and it's just like overweight, middle-aged people in their underwear wearing eyes wide shut masks.
Oh yeah, the people that go to orgies, of course.
And there's just like this massive buffet table. And Dennis is like, "Where's all the sexiness? What? And why is there a buffet?" And it's like, "Well, you can't bang on an empty stomach."
Wow!
They're just eating this buffet food at this weird orgy.
I regret to say that if your sentence starts with "Have you seen this episode of It's Always Sunny?" the answer for me is probably no. Like, I still really need to get on watching that show.
I think you would appreciate that show.
Oh, I think I would too. The little bit that I've seen, I've loved, but I have to watch this garbage instead.
Why would you go to an orgy with your father?
Because that's what this show is. This show is just assume that these are the worst people in humankind, and that's these people.
Pornography has led me to believe that tag teaming a girl with your dad is super cool, actually.
Even when your dad's Danny DeVito?
Especially when your dad is Danny DeVito. Insert Garrick smiling here.
Yeah, so Caitlin, you were saying you didn't care for the casting of Dr. Lucas.
It just, was not what I expected. Like, first of all, that guy is that guy.
Yeah,
and it was a little bit distracting.
Don't diss Seamus. Don't insult Seamus.
That's why I recognized him. Thank you.
And Bataille.
Young Bataille.
Picard's friend from
Inner Light.
Inner Light.
Oh shit! Thank you.
It's just that I assumed for some reason. I don't know. Do we even know how old Phlox is? I assumed that, his counterpart, or maybe this is just how middle-aged men looked in the 2000s. I don't know.
We were alive then. We saw them. We saw many of them.
I don't remember. I don't know. But it's just, he's not at all what I pictured. I kind of thought
pictured young and hot. Damn it.
Yeah, no, it's not even young and hot. It's just kind of more younger and not an actor who I've seen in so much shit that it's distracting to see him as Dr. Lucas.
Yeah, he's what is it? Jump to conclusions? Jump to something.
Oh my god, that's right! The Jump to Conclusions board! Oh
which
my
I
god.
love!
Where you jump to conclusions. I didn't even. That's right. Okay, so anyway, I didn't like it. I don't know why. I did
find it distracting, especially because we literally saw him as Seamus recently.
Yeah,
pulling an Irish accent out of his ass.
Right. We're talking about fucking
Fairhaven.
Yeah. The Voyager shit. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I just feel like I've seen him in enough other media.
Oh, he definitely is.
He's just a big distracting man.
I mean, he was fine in this. I did like his acting when, his friend is getting tortured.
Yeah.
There's that really great scene between him and Soong, and Soong is like, how could you be letting this happen? And Lucas is like, how could you
be letting this happen?
You're the one.
Which is a great clapback.
Yeah, that was great for him. I liked that. I hate that he let Phlox live.
I was just talking last night about the fact that I thought a good Twitter would be taunts and response, where someone, talks shit and the person they're talking shit about gives them a really good clapback, right away. And this would be one of those moments.
Nice.
This is going to be the first entry on taunts and response.
See, here's the thing. Phlox knew he wasn't actually in any peril.
Because he's in the opening credits?
Well, no. Well, yes. But also, if he was, he would have puffed up.
True.
You're right.
Oh,
he didn't
boy.
puff up.
I bet he's got a superpower where if he holds his breath and he doesn't take in the pathogen, he's fine for
That's actually
minutes on end.
What the head puff is for.
Right.
There was some sort of creature on Denobula that would get let off poisonous spores, so prehistoric Denobulans developed the ability to just, like, hold their breath and filter shit for a while, and that's why the head puff happens. We're good.
Wait, are you just talking nonsense, or is this true?
I am, but, like, you'd
But it
buy
makes
it,
sense.
wouldn't
Wow.
you?
Well,
He's
I was
making up some
sold,
head
honestly. I thought it was real. I was on board.
This is the show that gave us the Vulcan liver is in a different spot, and secret eyelids, and,
Well,
like, honestly, this would be the least stretch they've done yet.
I don't know. I think just the fact that Lucas caves pretty easily, like, we don't even let any pathogen into Phlox, probably because they didn't want to do that effect of the disease spreading again.
Yeah.
Just
that's
for
really
someone
what
to,
it
like,
was.
release the antipathogen like
Well,
they promised to do.
So Lucas, I think when the first guy was in the thing, I think he was anticipating, at least at the beginning, that they were gonna. It was a bluff, and they weren't actually going to do it because Soong
Have you
clearly was
seen
uncomfortable.
Malik? Malik's a psycho.
Oh yeah, Malik's insane.
yeah, but I think Soong
isn't.
also thought it was
Well,
going to
he
be a
is, but
bluff.
in a different way. Well, yeah, Soong was bluffing. He
Right.
just was too Soong wasn't anticipating Malik's resolve.
Or Lucas kind of calling his bluff as long as he did.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
crazy though. Like, I mean, I know, like, it's obviously Soong and company are the real problem here, but Lucas being like, meh, I was not impressed.
Well, it would be one thing if they were trying to get the, like, viral shit, but he just wants some embryos of Supermen who, like, yeah, they're hard to kill, but they're not impossible to kill.
Well, they're also not going to be a threat for like 20 years.
But eventually they'll take
That's a
over
good
the
point.
universe.
Yeah, but you have
Yeah,
some
but we'll
time.
be long dead by then, you know? I mean,
also
You have
Lucas,
some time to go kill him.
Lucas definitely, he's pretty chonky for a doctor.
But
See, what I
seems
think they should have.
irresponsible.
What I think they should have done is Archer should have just let them go and take the embryos, and then when at the end of the episode, everyone's like, well, Archer, why'd you do that? He's like, oh, they'll go off, they'll create a society, and then T'Pol will be like, perhaps in some future time we can visit and see what plant has grown from this seed you have planted today.
And Phlox should be totally for this because, it's just natural evolution this way. I mean, it's not natural at all. It's entirely engineered. But it's the next
It's
step.
their destiny, you know?
see, here's the thing. Here's how you totally could have this could have been fine. You let him go with the embryos, and you're like, John, what have you done? And he's like, no. Watch. In about a year and a half, 2 years, look for someone placing an ad for 70 nannies. And we will know exactly where Soong is.
For thousands of baskets of diapers.
Yeah, like
are the adult augments, are they gonna be content to like raise 1,000 children?
well, it clearly hadn't occurred to Malik
think
that
so.
was part of the process. Because Soong is even like, they're gonna need time to grow? And Malik was like, fuck, that's right.
But then he doesn't even consider that. He's like, no. As long as, the humans and Klingons are fighting, we can raise thousands of children wherever we want. What the Malik, you're a
is
moron.
he's pretty fucking stupid for superior intellect, you know?
He's an idiot. So
I love it. He's like, oh, this is the only way. Fucking Soong just listed several other ways. What is
So many.
wrong with you?
well, he's obsessed with his own superiority. Can't see past the end of his own nose. And if only
I have to be right.
Had they listened, Malik totally could have found his way to Insurrection Planet and been an immortal Superman.
Oh yeah, they don't know yet. They don't know about that yet.
Nope. I was like, oh, Briar Patch, I see what you did there. Your little nod to your terrible movie.
Dude, everything about this was a fucking nod. You're gonna be knocked down to fucking garbage scout captain every time.
Oh my god, they brought up
we
The
did get-
next
we did get a-
generation will have to figure this one out. Like,
We did get a little piece of lore, no pun intended, in some of this dropping things, and that's that Khan and the augments
ran like bitches.
I always just assumed that they were put on that ship as prisoners.
I thought
Yeah,
the
of
same.
course they were. This is like horrible retconning. There's no way.
I thought that's what
apparently they were
Spacey said.
that was their escape plan.
I don't believe that.
Soong says it's all a myth, so who actually knows what happened?
That's
Just
true.
Khan.
I
we
just
know Botany
don't
Bay
believe
exists.
it. Yeah.
We know the ship exists.
I do like the idea of it
Oh,
being
no.
this weird augment, like fairy tale, that the Botany Bay is out there somewhere. And depending upon how you interpret it, it can either be like King Arthur coming back, or it's an example of why you don't run like a little bitch, depending upon, whether you're a Protestant or a Catholic augment.
I mean, I could see Khan being like, okay, they've had this big war and they've lost, right? Like, because there just wasn't enough of them or whatever. So they're on the brink of losing this clone war, and Khan's like, you know what? Earth just ain't ready for this shit yet. So let's freeze ourselves, head out to space,
and cross our fingers.
Come back in a couple hundred years.
Earth's not
and
ready
then
for
we'll
this,
dominate.
but their kids are gonna love it.
Yeah, exactly.
So Malik's plan then is stoke war between humans and Klingons, and then go find Khan? Was that part of this?
No. That he was just using Khan as an example.
Okay,
of like,
I misunderstood.
Look, Khan ran like a bitch, and we're not going to do that.
He had pros and he had cons.
Hey.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
So I think the biggest missing element of this is kind of the genetic engineering debate, because we see a ton, how genetic engineering is bad, because if you create a superior race, they're going to act superiorly, and that's how they do. That's how they always do. And yet there's almost a moment of them being like, Archer saying, oh, my dad, had this Alzheimer equivalent that could have been cured with genetic research, but we didn't do it. And then that gets fully shoved away. And we never really examine the positives of genetic engineering, which there are myriad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and like even Soong is like, maybe, back in the 90s, they didn't have the technology to weed out the bad eggs, but now we do.
Or really to stop them from altering them to be bad eggs.
I'm just picturing the educated egg-decator from Willy Wonka right now.
Yeah.
Yum.
Where's that bad egg shoot?
Well, and that's like,
but like,
the thing is, that's what's so stupid about the total ban on engineering in the Federation. Well, right now Earth, later the Federation. Like, you can keep the stuff that cures diseases. You're not required to make Supermen too. It's not like some sort of rule. Like, sorry, the only way to get a cure is to make a Superman. It's like,
yeah,
what?
Denobulans supposedly perfected genetic engineering.
Well, that's
which again is surprising because of how much genocide Phlox loves to advocate.
Well, here's the thing, though. I do think my thought on this is that within the Federation, not all genetic,
not all
like
augments.
medicine, like gene medicine is probably practiced, because like we even see like Crusher uses a synthetic T cell to treat Barkley, and that's what leads to the shit in Genesis. And what is the fucking name?
Yeah, that's Genesis.
Genesis, yeah.
Genesis, okay. So like there are examples of them using genetic therapies, but so I think the distinction is like using gene editing to like improve abilities. Like that's where I think they draw the line. So I think in the future they would have probably treated Archer's dad, but they wouldn't have treated Archer's dad and given him a 10-inch schlong,
That's on request only.
Well, I also think part of the issue...
I don't know why they'd want to make his schlong shorter, but
Good joke, Jake.
Part of the issue, too, though, is I think, honestly, like, the total ban on genetic engineering thing really wasn't a thing until that episode of DS9. Like, I think before that it hadn't really come up much, so...
Well, it was also with DS9, though, remember, it wasn't that, it wasn't like Julian had, small schlong syndrome and they fixed it, but it was that his dad was like, oh man, this kid's a dum-dum. Let's go get his brain improved.
No,
so,
I know.
That's bad.
Poor
Julian.
I know.
But I think, like, the thing is that at that point, the writers were like, yeah, no, it's actually just a total genetic engineering ban, full stop.
Yeah.
And it's
Star Trek does have a habit of taking one thing and just making it, the law, the rule.
Yeah, even though it doesn't necessarily...
Like the green fucking Orions. So one person identified as an Orion slave girl who was green, and now this whole race of people are green.
They're all green and they're all fucking horny.
Yeah, even though she could easily have been bought.
I didn't even mention this when we watched the first episode, but they had to retcon it. Like, it's very subtle, the retconning, but they're like, wait a minute, they enslave their own women? Yeah, because, they're insatiable or whatever the fuck they said. But it's like, they had to retcon the fact that the Orion slave girls were green because they made the Orions green. So they had to insert
none of the other slaves they have are Orions.
Right. So they had to insert a stupid line to be like, oh, yeah. They enslave other races except for the sex ladies. They use their own for that.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Like, historically, yes, people enslave their own people all the fucking time.
Oh, sure.
That's not that weird, John.
It's not weird, but it's just also I'm more pissed at the writers.
It sounds kind of weird.
They're like, oh, we made the Orions green, so now they felt the need to explain why the slave girl was also green.
Foreshadowing, we're gonna get even more stupid Orion lore before this show finishes.
Yeah, that looks really unbecoming. I'm not looking forward to that one.
I pre-hate that episode. So
they do look sexy, though.
Sidebar.
Well, as long as it's sexy.
This isn't a retcon. I just checked the plot summary on Memory Alpha for Space Seed, and Kirk says he wants to know the truth about Khan's departure from Earth, to which Khan replies, he and his followers sought a new life and a chance to build a new world, plus other things he did not believe Kirk, who he considered mentally and physically inferior, would understand. So they did, apparently.
So they did, okay. So that
leave of their own accord.
That doesn't sound like running like a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a terrible fucking plan, for one thing.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like the excuse that someone who ran like a bitch would say to explain that they're not a bitch.
But either way,
we wanted a new life.
Kofifi. It's a reference to.
But that's the thing. I think it. So actually, it's not a retcon here, and yeah, it could be something that, depending upon who you are, you might interpret it different ways. Malik is like, he ran. Others can be like, no, he wanted to sow space seeds.
Ew, gross.
I mean, this is still a dumb, boring... here's the thing. I guess I'm grateful we're back into the just I'm bored era of Enterprise over the I am enraged at the philosophy of Enterprise.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I think this episode... I think a shorter episode that cut out some of the
teenage
drama and other bullshit. Yeah. This could have been good. I could have enjoyed this.
A two-part version of this... A two-part version is that cuts the drama, gives us fewer scenes of yes, once you've established that Malik and Soong are at odds, we didn't need that as many times as we had it. It's like, we get it. You're padding at this point.
It's like in that Harry Potter book and movie where he keeps having to use that quill pen that is I will not tell lies.
Yeah.
And it's like, guess what, guys? Dolores Umbridge is real bad. Let's show you several times. It's like, yeah, we got it the first time.
Yeah, I get that maybe you want to do it more than once just so they can both have their say, but we didn't need it as many times as we got it.
Limit it to once per episode if you really want. That way everybody, no matter when they tune in, gets the picture that this guy sucks.
Yeah, and either...
Hold. I just need to ask a question. Is there a villain in Harry Potter whose name is Umbridge?
Yeah, you've asked this before, Jake.
Yeah.
Have I?
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling is a terrible writer.
And a bad person.
George Lucas, apparently.
At least George isn't a transphobe.
We don't know.
We know of.
Yeah, I was going to say, a vocal transphobe.
Let's start rumors on our podcast.
Yikes.
I'm sure George Lucas is very open-minded.
He seems...
But not about, Jews, black people, Mon Calamari, whoever else he's offended over the years.
I would say, anyway, this isn't about George Lucas. Anyway, but yeah, 2 parts, cut out some of the drama, fewer arguments, and either cut Udar or actually do something with him.
I know. He should have at least had, information that was helpful or something. They figured out where they were going without Udar's help. They figured out what was going to happen without Udar's help. They bring Udar, and we do get a very, very cute scene where he's rejoined with Soong and his daddy's son. Oh, I thought you were dead. It's so good to see you. And they're like, oh, yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah,
that was cute.
Yeah,
that was cute.
That's what you could have done more with him. This whole because again, it was to drive home Malik's a supremacist. Again, we fucking get it. But And maybe, again, show Soong like, oh, Malik might be a little crazy. Because for him, he was like, well, the kid didn't turn out like I expected, but he's still my adopted son, and I still love him. And then again, he just gets shot lying on the floor. He doesn't even get a dramatically satisfying death.
Yeah, we don't even get like a close-up of the face, like in the little flop of the head or anything. It's just bang, done.
Yeah, it's like, which again, I mean, yeah, maybe in some ways that's more realistic. People don't get dramatic deaths in real life, but this is a television
this is a TV show.
So there's certain expectations.
Although they would have had to cut it on the UK, I'm sure, because oh boy, did they cut a lot of shit from these episodes in the UK. I have a list. Of things they cut when in the broadcast in the UK. They omitted.
Oh well, surely that hole that got blown through Malik, that seemed pretty brutal.
Let's find out if it's on my list.
Right.
They omitted some of the Lucas torture. They omitted the close-up of that scientist being killed by the virus.
Yeah, that's good. That was gross.
They omitted the fight between Malik and Persis and Persis's death. So in their version, Persis just stops being in the episode for no reason.
Oh my god.
And that's what you get, UK. You get fucking plot holes because you're scared of violence.
Did they keep the blasting a hole through Malik?
Sounds like it. I didn't hear it on that list.
Wow.
1 second.
That was fucking stupid, is what that was.
Well, yeah. Like, what did he shoot him with? What was that? Was that a disruptor?
It was one of the Mako rifles.
It was stupid.
Have we established that they can shoot holes through
we have now
genetically superior people?
And boy, did that thing look like a fucking toy.
Yeah. Well, again, I've been bitching about the props in this show
since day
one.
And for good reason, because it sucks.
But you know what was good? I thought that Soong's civvies were pretty good.
I didn't even notice.
Like, I feel like they dressed him a little young, maybe? But it was like a purple t-shirt, a perfectly reasonable looking, maybe leather, maybe denim jacket. Like, I was into it. I liked it. I think Brett Spiner looked hot.
Yeah, he looked good. See, I spent so much of the episode just detesting the clothes they put the augments in because it's so bad.
Oh yeah,
it's so
those are
specifically worn in a way that's so fabricated and fake.
Yeah.
Well, just it's just so you can see just enough of Persis's tits when she moves around.
No, she was actually pretty clad. No, you're right. That shirt with the holes. Yeah. The black shirt with all the holes in it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I wasn't even thinking of that.
And then Smike is also in the costumes, even though he's been left on a planet and could have found his own fucking clothes.
with black shirt with a bunch of holes in it.
Well, I think so the implication is that like they don't have the skills, like they're great at everything except weaving cloth or something. They can't figure that one out.
Can't sew.
It's really hard, to be fair.
I'm sure, but I have no doubt that living on a planet for so long, they could probably have designed a loom.
I mean, as Soong says, you're a clever boy, Malik. Learn to fucking sew.
Yeah.
You're a smart boy. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think I kind of preferred Persis a little bit now that she's not in this like love triangle with Malik and Rakeen from last week. I think.
Yeah,
that sounds
dick. Right. I mean, she's still very damselly in that she's like, oh, where do my allegiances lie? With whoever I talked to last. Great, good job, Persis. But she does this great thing when they're taking over the cold station in which she like kicks a guy and he does a wacky flip. I was proud of her.
Oh, God. What a thing.
Yeah, like last week, this episode was nominated for an Emmy in stunts coordination. Neither of them won, but it's like, okay, I can see that there was a lot of stunts coordination.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
I thought, I knew Malik was gonna kill her, but I was still bummed. And I also knew he was gonna kiss her after he had
that was unnecessary.
Killed her, and he did, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, fuck that dude.
Yeah, he sucks.
I gotta say, with this episode's like endless references, I am shocked that when they were first talking to the Klingons, they weren't there with a pile of books.
Yeah. Douchebag Unuk. Reen?
All right, so I was going to ask, because I remember way back when, because I still haven't found like a time to like Archer particularly, and Chris saying ages and ages ago that he gets better when they just make him Captain Dad. Are we seeing the beginnings of that finally? Because when he was pretending to be Klingon, it was the dopiest fucking thing.
I don't know anymore. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I write it off as I had not seen a lot of other Star Trek in a long time when I watched this fucking show. I think I was just dead wrong in every capacity. I don't know, man. Or maybe, because I never did like season 3. Maybe season 3 pissed me off so much that season 4 and whatever, like, made me misremember things. I don't know. I'm gonna take a big mea culpa on this one. I was basically 99% wrong on Enterprise. Connor Trinneer's right, though.
I remember enjoying some of season 4, so I'm hoping it turns out to get better.
Okay, did you like the Archer pretending to be a Klingon, Jake?
No, I did not. I thought that was stupid.
I mean, it again at least felt like season 1 and 2 Archer and not season 3 Archer, so that's the thing. I guess, again, it's not great, but I prefer this version of Archer to War Criminal Archer.
Mm-hmm. I mean, who wouldn't? War criminals.
Yeah, Rick Berman, probably. Ugh.
He did figure out this whole, how to get himself out of the cold station after he, made sure that the rest of the scientists wouldn't be exposed to all the pathogens, but he's stuck in the pathogen room like a fool. Yeah. And he says, T'Pol, shoot the pathogen room. And she's like, that will kill you. He's like, well, if you beam me out real fast, maybe.
It's like, look, I'm either definitely gonna die or I'm gonna maybe die. I'll take a chance on maybe.
Was it better than the time in, I want to say not Cold Front. Might have been Cold Front? Whatever the episode was where he climbs over a railing because the room is being rapidly decompressed.
Oh yeah, that was fucking stupid.
And this one, he's blown out of the thing into space for the splittest of seconds. And at least it looked like this time they prepared a little better, but I still didn't really get the how much danger Archer knew he was about to be in. He doesn't prep at all.
Yeah. I mean, how do you prep for that, really, though, to his credit?
At the very least, you exhale everything from your lungs and block your nose.
True, which I only
That's
know.
True. You'd get the bends pretty bad.
I actually only know that because of a Star Trek novel I read once.
Yeah, you said Wesley did it, right?
Yeah, I can't remember what novel it was, but yeah. I think it might have been one of the Shatner ones, sadly. Well, Shatner in scare quotes. I'm sure he had help.
Yeah, so after that, we do at least see Archer's got, a lot of, eye shit happening.
Yeah.
So they did something, and I was proud of them.
I don't know what the hell, contact that was or what, but it was a good job of looking gross.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so I don't know if I said this in our last one, but I think I remember I said at the time that I felt like Malik especially was, just shown Space Seed and Khan and just told impersonate all of them.
No, now it was just acted out.
Yeah, but I realized too, I feel like maybe he also watched Blade Runner and threw a little bit of Rutger Hauer in there too.
Maybe.
But again,
maybe that's where the
good.
stupid voice came from.
Maybe.
Or maybe that's just his natural accent. I couldn't tell.
No, didn't we figure out last week he's a Scotsman?
We did.
Who's normally good in things, but this was just an off 3 weeks.
Well, he was good in the Dune miniseries.
That's right. I forgot we did say that last time.
Yeah.
And yes, he was good in that. Damn it. Damn this man. Or really, maybe it's damn these writers, because Jesus Christ, if Malik's motivation this entire 3-parter long is just amass power and be a real psycho about it, not that interesting, but it also makes me not understand Soong's motivation fucking ever, because he never seemed to understand, if you're prioritizing your augment babies over everyone else and they're gonna rise up and kill everyone, and yet you're not okay with killing, then what the fuck is your problem, Soong? What are you doing this even for?
Well, I mean, so supposedly, but anyway, we weren't shown this, we're only told it, so great writing, guys. There is a brief moment where Malik's like, what happened to you in prison? So maybe he used to be more hardcore? It doesn't seem like it, though, when we see the fucking home movies of him having a birthday cake with the kids.
Oh, man, I want that cake.
I'm guessing that, the based on what Soong was saying, I'm going to guess that the, aggression and rage and anger is just something an emergent property of the augments.
Yeah.
And it's probably just in Malik's mind that Soong was this like militant anti-human person or whatever.
I could see that, yeah.
It's just because he is a militant anti-human.
Yeah, he's
person.
like, why are you trying to gene edit out the violence and rage? You should be putting more in. Weird. You're a weird guy, Malik.
Yeah.
He does say something stupid, and I wanted to slap him for it. I don't know if I have it written down.
Just one thing?
Here we go. They were engineered to be this way, and it's like, he's just doing more engineer. Like, the engineering was the thing that was subjective in the first place. Like, this isn't like, what?
2 wrongs don't make a right, but 37 wrongs make it's a wash.
37 Soongs is how many Data will eventually play.
Often wrongs. Often wrong.
There you go.
Seeming more and more accurate, because goddamn, these guys have fucked up repeat. People joke about Michael Burnham being the most important person in space, but clearly the Soong family is the most important fucking family in the history of the Alpha Quadrant.
Oh yeah, and if they got their own series, we would see that, but in Discovery, we only ever fucking see Michael Burnham saving the day. No, saving the universe every minute of every day.
Saving the universe that the Soongs put in peril in the first place somehow.
Not always. Sometimes it's denobulance. I have some other little notes that are fun. First one in that, as we're approaching Summer Olympic time, they do mention that Udar's mother was an Olympic athlete, and they say she was an Olympic women's decathlon athlete.
Silver medal.
But currently, there is not a women's decathlon in the Olympics. There's a men's decathlon and a women's heptathlon. So instead of 10 events, the women only get 7, and they're not like the really like hardcore
knitting, cooking,
scolding,
yep,
waggling your finger like this,
cleaning, lots of cleaning,
nagging,
the laundry.
Christ.
I will say those family portraits were terrible.
Yeah, they looked really bad.
Well, it was weird because
it was like which like it just felt like Shutterstock,
Well, it looks like they took photos of real people, but then like added shit in colored pencil. Like it didn't even look like a bad Photoshop job. It looked like somebody went in and just literally drew on a picture. It's like, what is happening?
It probably wasn't a bad Photoshop job. It was so early.
Yeah, I'm sure they had stuff like that by then. But that's what I mean. Like, they had photo manipulation stuff, but again, it looks like they drew on it. It's like, you couldn't just get some extras and put them in costumes and take a picture and not fuck with it? Like
that, when George Costanza had, like, photobombed that guy at the beach, his boss at the beach, and then he tried to have himself airbrushed out, but they ended up airbrushing out the wrong guy. And then they just drew him back. And then when George's like, you airbrushed out the wrong guy. I wanted you to airbrush out this guy. And then they just draw him back in as a cartoon character.
Weird.
I don't remember that. I love it.
Great.
Are you making it up, or is it like season 9 and I just didn't watch it?
It's like, it's a later season episode.
That might be why. I gave up. I stopped. I didn't finish the final season of Seinfeld. It was such a drop in quality to me.
There's a few gem moments in there.
Yeah, they weren't worth it. It's like people who are like, you should watch Buffy. The first, 4.5 seasons suck, but, the last season and a half or whatever is amazing.
That is a lot of episodes to have to wade through.
It's also not true. I think they usually just say that, the first season isn't great, or maybe the first 2 seasons, but even so, it's like, if I'm going to watch a show, I got to do it start to finish, unless it's Seinfeld and really sucks at the end, and then I stop.
I mean, that's pretty much all sitcoms. Very rarely does a sitcom end when it should. Most of them end up limping across a finish line and falling with a puddle of its own vomit.
That's why I appreciate English sitcoms, is I feel like they
just stop out of nowhere.
Well, I just feel like they always finish before they wear out their welcome,
Yeah, but you're always left being like, I want more.
Yeah, and that's
but that's
the oldest
okay.
adage
Always
in the
leave
book.
them wanting more. That's the rule, isn't it?
Yep.
I guess.
Then you write fanfic.
Instead of being like, fuck, I wish this show had ended while it was still good. Now I hate it,
Speaking of writing fanfic, why does Archer know Nicholas Nickleby?
Because everyone in Star Trek is very familiar with the high school, the U.S. high school English book canon.
I've never even read Nicholas
I was gonna
Nickleby.
say, I never had to read that.
That's not one of the required ones typically.
That's
and
true.
when Archer just spouts, like, immediately he gets the reference. And it's like,
Yeah,
I would
he doesn't
fucking
even think
love...
about it for a second. He has to Google it, like Smike.
Yeah, I would love for him to be like, okay, and then Smike has to explain his own name. That'd be
Nicholas
fine.
Nickleby? Hello?
That would have been good.
Computer,
Yeah.
explain Nicholas Nickleby to me.
And I know that this didn't exist when they wrote this show, but he should have been called Reek, and we know it.
Oh no.
Especially because, like, that whole, like, insistence that they call him Smike, it just felt very Game of Thronesy. God, Ramsay's a bad man.
But yeah, it's like clearly just one of the writers of this episode knew the reference and realized no one else would, but insisted on using it anyway.
Yeah, I need to explain it to the audience, but I need to make sure that all the characters on stage know it.
Yeah, it's dumb.
I'd love to imagine even that, like, you know, when they're reading this, because when they do the table read, you know, somebody went, "The fuck is Smike?"
Right.
Maybe it was Reed. Even fucking I can't think of his real name, but Reed is like, "I'm British and I haven't read that fucking book. What are you doing, you twat?"
He would have said twat.
Yeah, I know.
Dominic Keating.
Dominic Keating, thank you.
Took me a minute.
I can't get over that. Why is his name is Dominic? It just doesn't feel right.
Yes, that is the name of a Christmas donkey, not a man.
It feels like it's like an Italian person. I know a Dominic who is Italian American, and that like feels right. I want him to be like Colin or Nigel or some shit, you know? But too late, I guess. Well, maybe Daniels will get in touch and we can go back in time and fix it.
Yep, we sure will. Everyone will have read Nicholas Nickleby. He'll make sure. He'll go back and retroactively put it on all the high school reading lists.
Oh, well, that doesn't necessarily mean everybody will read it.
Yeah, I would say
if I had a nickel for all the books I didn't read that I was supposed to in high school,
You'd have a nickel B.
Yeah.
Hey! A nickel A, a nickel B, a nickel C. That's right.
I think people would maybe like reading more if we changed what they read in high school. I feel like a lot of the choices are very old and based in decrepit ideas.
A lot of penis jokes.
In what, Nicholas Nickleby?
No, in the high school reading curriculum.
Yeah,
Really?
Nicholas Nickleby might be a better choice than some of the shit they threw at us.
Except for when they read it, they have to read a version that's been edited, so it's Dickolas Dickleby, just to make sure that all the dick jokes are still accounted for. Ames, can I have an example of a dick joke that's in a high school English book? Because I really can't think of any.
Fucking Shakespeare.
I was going to say so much Shakespeare.
Yeah, but
I think even in some of like the modern YA lit, there's always like dicks and vaginas.
There is a character in a Dickens novel, I forget which one. It might be Oliver Twist, but there's a guy named, I forget his, and this is true, I'm not just pulling shit out of my ass. There's a kid whose surname is Bates, and people refer to him repeatedly as Master Bates.
And he always has his hands in his pockets.
Yes. Good. What is that from?
I don't know. You've just told the story on this podcast before, so I don't know.
Have I? Ah, I see.
Sounds like Great Expectations.
Yeah.
Charles Good Deep Dickens.
Couple other things I wanted to bring up from these episodes. Oh God, when they show up to save the Klingon colony before Malik, or really after Malik has already released a torpedo, somehow our torpedoes go faster than their torpedoes, and that makes no fucking sense.
Well, you see, no.
It's because we have faith of the heart.
Like, I didn't understand that. Like, there should have been some science to it, other than shoot it, but it's already going, as fast as a shot away from us. Transport it.
I mean, just phaser it. The phaser's faster than a torpedo.
Are they?
They're laser beams.
Is that how that works?
Something. Yeah.
Has this come up before ever in the show?
Phasers are like speed of light.
I don't know. Does phasing make them slower than light, though? Maybe a little?
I don't know.
Probably still faster than a fucking torpedo.
Yeah, well, like in Undiscovered Country, it takes like 15 minutes for that one torpedo to hit Chang's ship at the end.
Well, that's because it has to do a loop-the-loop because it's tracking its gas trail, and it didn't go in a straight line.
That's true.
It had to find its pooper because it was tracking gas.
So, in Archer's pretending to be a Klingon time, where, it's doing the automatic translation, for some reason, Qapla' doesn't get translated. You know who else says kapla sometimes?
B'Elanna
fucking
Torres.
I don't know if
Torres.
I've ever heard her say kapla.
If
now that you
anything,
mention
she'd
it.
go out of her way not to. She hates
She's
being
like,
Klingon.
victory, yes, success and happiness and all this Klingon shit. Hand me a blood pie. Speaking of hand me a blood pie, let's get B'Elanna Torres a fucking blood pie because we're talking about her this week for
B'Elanna.
our
no.
character spotlight.
We are going to get her some banana pancakes.
Banana blood pie.
It got weird.
All right, so I do like Torres a lot. I think they stopped using her about halfway through the show. I
Yes,
wonder why.
they do.
Because they got a different lady character to play with all the time. But there's still some great B'Elanna stuff. Who wants to tell us some great
Me.
B'Elanna stuff?
I want to go first.
Do it.
Yay.
Okay. In the episode Juggernaut, she stops a ship from exploding.
She does. That's true.
That's
a good one.
Under great duress. In Faces, she recognizes the importance of both parts of her heritage.
Yeah. Oh, I love that episode. And it's so early, too. Yeah, like, I'm surprised they did that. They pulled that off so well so early.
I was going to say, it's some of the better stuff, especially for season 1.
You know who else pulled it off? The fans wanking over 2 B'Elannas.
Well,
Were they?
I don't know.
I mean, I was. I mean, I could imagine they would. And finally, and this one might be controversial, sticking to her guns and not accepting treatment from a war criminal.
Damn.
Even though he's a hologram.
That's a good one.
Damn.
But yeah, I mean, she still got molested by Janeway in that scenario.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that makes
she got
Janeway bad,
overruled,
not
but-
B'Elanna.
Oh yeah, no, I know, but it's a shame that that had to happen.
Yeah, you're right. Janeway's a bad person.
Well, I have no overlap with you.
Wow.
So that's cool.
That is cool.
We're gonna have a big.
Well, you should go then.
Okay, I will. So I'm going to have agreeing to donate tissue or whatever she donated to help treat Dinara Pell.
Mm.
Because if you recall, originally she's like, I'm not helping these people. They fucking kidnapped me and tried to, split me in two and all kinds of nonsense. And then the doctor's like, please, she's my girlfriend.
Look, she's the nice one.
Yeah.
And she's hot. She's also hot.
So that I mean, all that does is prove that B'Elanna is a better person than Worf.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a solid. She did a solid. I'm going to say trying to help, can't remember the character's name, genocidal hologram man.
Dejarin.
She agreed to go over there another time when the doctor's like, please help me, help my friend. She's like, fine, I'll go over, help him. And then, she legitimately tried to help him and, until she realized he was genocidal maniac, and then she killed him.
Yeah, and then she
Which is also
survived.
Yeah.
Some fucking how.
Yeah. And then this one's kind of a cop-out, but I'm going to put it on there just so it makes sure it's on the list. And that is marrying Tom Paris.
So no one else would have to?
So no one else would have to.
She took the
Taking
bullet.
that man off the market. Yeah, I don't know. I just, I think we've said before that, they have of the relationships in Star Trek, theirs is, I think, one of the more interesting ones because, it's complex.
Mm.
And I like them together, so I'm going to say that.
Cool.
All right. Well, I also had Dreadnought. Puts herself at great personal risk to undo a stupid thing she did when she was younger.
That's a good one.
Chakotay's chagrin. He was like, you shouldn't have done that. And she's like, whatever, it'll never come back to bite me in the ass in a completely different part of the galaxy. Oh, no! It came back to bite me in the ass in a completely different part of the galaxy.
Yeah, and then mock me in my own voice. Dang it.
Oh, boy, this is not subtle.
Awkward.
I'm going to go with the way she helped the doctor that some people might argue would be on a bad list. I don't know. But when she reprogrammed his terrible family in real life.
I like that.
Yeah.
I agree. That's a good one.
I considered putting that one on my list.
He needed
too,
that kick in the ass.
But yeah, I couldn't decide whether it was good or bad, and that's why I didn't include it.
I mean, she didn't program in that the kid was gonna die, so I figured that keeps it from being bad. If she was like, I purposely made the child die, then I'd be like, that's a bit much, B'Elanna. And then I'm gonna go with Remember.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Everyone's friends with these aliens, and they're gonna have shore leave and trade agreements, and she's like, the truth is more important.
Mm-hmm.
Good for her. I love her in that scene.
It's a good episode.
That is a very good episode. Like she starts off Voyager so strong, and then they just forget about her for the most part.
That's what made this one kind of tricky. Is like the show kind of just didn't use her enough.
Yeah, it's actually fascinating because I have a feeling this will be the case this week too. But last week it was the case when we talked Tuvok that almost all of Tuvok's moments were from seasons 2 and 3. Because after that, it becomes the 7 of 9 show. And they don't do a lot with Tuvok after that.
No.
It's fascinating. I have a feeling that's going to be the same here.
Or B'Elanna, for that matter, because I feel like, B'Elanna's the chief engineer, but a lot of, like, the tough engineering problems later in the show are things that, like, 7 ends up doing.
Yeah, we need Borg shit.
Like, we have to use Borg shit.
Yeah.
And B'Elanna's really just there to be like, please don't put Borg shit in my engine.
And Janeway goes, B'Elanna, I hear your concerns, but Borg shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
But have you seen dem titties?
But have you seen the cool green lights they get? I love green.
The green titties? Neat. Anyway.
Orions?
Wow. I have a couple good Torres moments that haven't come up yet that are also really fun. I really love the scene of her and Tom floating in space in their EV suits in Day of Honor, when Torres has been grappling all fucking day with her Klingon heritage, and then she's stuck out in space with Tom being like, this was the worst fucking day. But it's also, it's a beautiful scene. It's where the two of them kind of confess that they like each other, and it's so well shot, and I love that.
That is a nice scene.
So that's a good one for them.
I do like them together, except when Tom's being a fucking douche, which is a lot of the time, but I don't know. B'Elanna's happy. B'Elanna's happy, I'm happy.
It's realistic, but the problem is just, it's one of those things where, again, like, the writers mostly think to bring up their relationship when there's an issue, which, because again, it's TV, you want tension, but occasionally throw in just a good day they're having for fun.
Hey, I have a good day that they're having.
There we go.
As another one of my good menchies. And that's when Torres is so sweet that she gets Tom a classic TV set as a gift in memorial.
And a remote control.
And the remote control, even though it's anachronistic. And it's like, oh, they like each other. And it's very cute. It's a nice little relationship that, it does have strains. And we'll talk about some of the strains in the worst moments, I'm sure. But generally, like, they complement each other very well.
Yeah.
I need one more. Is it gonna be... Okay, here's another really early one, just because this was a good cementing of who the Torres character is way back when, in one of the first episodes, Parallax, when she bonds with Janeway about science.
Oh yeah, it's a fun scene.
It's such a fun little scene, and it's like, I think B'Elanna has just gotten the job as chief engineer, and Janeway's like, you better prove Chakotay right on this, because we still don't like you Maquis people. And then they're like, but let's figure out this scenario together, and they science hard, and they have little science boners about it, and it was a very cute introduction to their relationship.
Yeah.
And was that what cemented B'Elanna getting the chief engineer role, was like she made friends with Janeway? Because I know that was a plot early on, and I just can't remember.
It was in that episode. I think it was originally Chakotay suggested her for the job.
Yeah, but Janeway's like, I don't know. She's a hothead, and I don't really like her.
She broke Carrie's nose.
Carrie deserved
she broke
it.
Carrie's nose.
Whoops.
So those are some good moments. Do anyone have any good honorable mentions to throw in before we move on?
Well, since we've already mentioned a couple of like touching B'Elanna and Tom moments, I want to round out that with the proposal in the Delta Flyer.
As what?
It was a good moment.
For her?
Yeah,
not for Tom. I hated Tom in that.
Well, no, Tom was terrible, but I don't know, as another moment of them.
Oh, okay. I did like that she kind of added herself to his crew so that they could be together.
Yeah,
that was nice.
They were on that. Yeah, she joined him on the race. I'm also gonna say, saving his dumbass from that fucking ship that he was trying to bang.
Oh, Alice.
Drive,
that bitch,
right?
That bitch ship.
Yeah. Was that Drive or was that a different episode?
Drive was the race.
Oh, right.
Alice was. Don't remember the title.
Alice. The title is Alice.
Oh, it's just Alice. Okay.
Alice was called "Fucking Your Car's Tailpipe" for fun.
Yep.
And profit.
Oh, the last thing I really like that's going to be my honorable mention is when she befriends that Cardassian hologram lady in Flesh and Blood. Because she first goes in and it's like, oh God, you're a Cardassian, but you're a hologram, so maybe I can just treat you like an engineer. And the hologram's like, I'm cool. And then they're
That's
cool.
But she couldn't do that with the doctor? I'm just kidding. He was a
another
Nazi.
fucking time. Okay, what is with B'Elanna getting pulled into shit by the doctor?
Yeah.
And then ending up in peril.
Yep.
Everybody gets pulled into this shit by the doctor. He's fucking bad. He's a bad man.
It's like, oh, come on, just help them. They're holograms. They only kidnapped you a little bit.
What were they feeding her? They don't have physical food.
She had to imagine food, like that scene in Hook.
There we go.
Ooh.
Oh, that banquet looked great.
In Hook?
I liked the whipped cream stuff that they started throwing at each other.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like fun, but I don't know if I think it looked great. Like, it kind of looked like, there's like a really cheap, gross, like, whipped dessert that has that exact...
Cool Whip?
No. Cool Whip is not a dessert, it's a topping.
You can eat it on its own.
Yeah.
Believe me.
I mean, I know. And actually, it's good if you freeze it and then eat it. I like it when it's still frozen. That's the good shit.
It's like a really light ice cream.
Well, that's what's basically on top of like Carvel cakes. Actually, their frosting is really close to
It's been a while since we talked about Carvel cakes on this show. We need more.
I need an ice cream cake.
Yes,
please.
It's almost Christmas. It's almost. I almost just said that it's almost Christmas. It's not almost Christmas, but it is almost my birthday, and I want an ice cream cake.
Personal Christmas.
Actually,
this
is
the baby.
It's like
fucking
personal
wheel.
Jesus, but it's personal
Caitlin
Christmas.
I think this might be going up after your birthday, actually. So.
Well, I'm already older, and I've already had my motherfucking ice cream cake. Don't worry about it.
Good call.
Don't worry about it. Forget about it.
How has Torres
You know what
fucked
we
up?
can't forget? What?
How has Torres fucked up?
I was just gonna say, you know what we can't forget about? All these times that B'Elanna sucked. Just kidding, it wasn't that many times. Trying really hard to, like, do the bang on Tom when she was going through Ponfar.
Yup.
And, like, getting the captain in on ordering it, or who was it that ordered?
Tuvok,
like, was like,
that
oh,
dick.
right. Just fuck her already. Sir, I have agency. Not anymore, Lieutenant. Oh my god.
But here's the thing, though. Really, that's Vorik's fault.
Yeah, but anytime bad Ponfar happens, I'm gonna fucking put it on these lists.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I agree.
Because goddamn it.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be on the list.
No.
I'm just saying let's not forget who's truly the piece of shit in this situation.
Oh, I like
Tuvok.
Vorik. Poor Vorik. He sucks. But I love him. I really do. I like him. I can't help it. That time where she was doing really unsafe, suicidal type shit, and I don't even remember why she was doing it. I just remember that it was
just to feel.
She had a sad about the Maquis dying.
Oh, that's right. Well, that was fucking stupid and selfish, and how dare she? I mean, I get it, but seek therapy. Don't be stupid.
They don't have a therapist. She'd have to program Freud or some shit.
They have Neelix.
That's not even that. They have doctors in Star Trek are trained to do psychology and psychiatry. Obviously, the EMH sucks at it. We've seen that. Telling 7 to 9 she's got trauma and making her believe it. But theoretically, before he, like, got on a high horse and dumped all that shit into his brain to try to be like a super psychologist, he probably had enough to get through a little fucking grief counseling, right? I mean,
you have to ask for it.
And that's what I'm saying. I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's bad that she grieved, and I'm not saying that, like, she's bad for, like, not necessarily having complete control over how her grief was manifesting, but, like, she should have sought some help. That's all.
You gotta think this stuff through, yeah.
That's all. Like,
I'm not disagreeing.
No, well, good.
It's on my list too, so
yeah.
I agree with you.
So you get it. Third and final, treating 7 of 9 like shit way past the point where it was appropriate.
Yeah, I have
like,
two instances of those on my list, so.
All right, perfect. Well, I don't have a specific one. I just feel like for a while, and I remember it seemed like there was a resurgence. Like, for a while, it seemed like maybe things were okay, and then they, like, rebooted it, and we're like, nope, she hates 7 again. Like, why? And
she's
also,
not
like,
the hot chick anymore.
Yeah, fuck. But, like, she never was. Janeway was. No, actually, Kess was, and then 7. But
I think Kess was a cutie.
Yeah, I don't think, like, 7 coming in as the sex symbol was not a replacement for Kess, the sex symbol.
Well, I would say different strokes for different folks.
No, I'm sure.
And
I'm
if
sure
you
there's
like
lots
a cute little petite thing with a really bad wig and some cute ears, not that I do, but if you did, Kess might be your thing.
Oh, yeah. All right, I got some bad B'Elanna moments.
Do you?
Bad B'Elanna. Bad.
Naughty B'Elanna.
Well, I'm not going to replace it because I think it deserves to be on here. I am going to include trying to get herself killed in the holodeck.
Yep.
I think that's a top bad moment. I'm going to also say, almost getting herself killed and like getting other people involved in this so that she can go to hell and rescue her mom.
Fucking B'Elanna, man.
Ghost ship or
So
Barge
stupid.
of
of the Dead. I hate that.
Barge of the Dead. That's it. Thank you.
Because it's a terrible episode, terrible idea, just weird, bordering on supernatural bullshit.
And she doesn't even believe any of it. She's
No,
never
she
doesn't
believed
even
this
believe
shit
any of it.
before.
She suddenly does.
Arg.
So yeah, just stupid all around. And then riffing on one that Chris had on his list, I'm going to say creating a fucking doomsday weapon in the first place.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I considered that.
Because honestly, like, that's pretty fucked up. Like, that's one of the more fucked up things that a hero character in Star Trek has done until Archer. Is, actually building a weapon to, like, destroy a planet or whatever the fuck it was intended to do.
A refueling station.
Okay, well, whatever. But it's still, it was going to destroy a planet.
It was,
It was on
yes.
its way to, or at least devastate a planet.
Yeah, no, it was
So-
not going to do anything good.
Yeah, you can tell, like, where we say, like, Chakotay probably joined the Maquis so that he could, like, because they matched his ethics. B'Elanna joined the Maquis to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
How about you, Chris?
So, yeah, I did not disagree with Caitlin because Extreme Risk is also on my list.
Whoa!
It's
we're
like-
sweeping.
It's like, look, I mean, I get it. You gotta ask for help, but at some point you gotta realize you've crossed a line, and boy, oh boy, she was not dealing with it well.
No.
I overlapped with Jake with Barge of the Dead. It's like, what? Why are you suddenly into Klingon religion? You had a near-death experience. Your brain was almost dying and making shit up. None of this
That's
is really
what it was.
weirdo.
Near-death experiences make you do all kinds of dumb shit.
What
That's
about all
true.
the other near-death experiences she's had?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
And basically everything in Lineage.
Oh, yeah! Good one!
Yeah, where she
Which
tries
one's
to...
that again?
That's
Is
where
that the
she...
one with the Klingons?
That's one with
No,
the head
that's-
ridges.
that's the one with the head ridges, right?
Yeah,
right.
it's appropriate to actually this week's episodes. She tries to get the Doctor to genetic engineer all the Klingonness out of her daughter, and
Right.
like even lies to Tom about it being medically necessary and not
I
just
totally forgot about that.
her. Yeah, so did I. Till I was reading her, I was like, oh yeah, that episode. Oh yeah, oh boy.
Yeah, that's a really fucked up stance to have,
Deeply.
but we got some really good conversations out of it,
We did, and
which
again,
was good.
It made total sense for a character, with the self-loathing and the feelings of like you totally get why she feels the way she does, but people got to tell her, it's like, no, this is insane, though.
Yeah,
Well,
don't
but
take it out on your kid.
There's sort of a link between this and this episode this week, though, because this is kind of what Soong was doing, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remove the aggressive.
Well, she also
Add
just
more aggression.
she was trying to just remove any sort of phenotypical Klingon.
Leave the ridges. The ridges are great. We love them.
She hates
And
the
keep-
ridges.
And keep them Klingon titties if you can. Sorry, I know it's a little kid, but someday.
More dicks.
So yeah, those are my three.
Cool. All right, I got a couple that haven't been said yet because, I do have a lot of overlap, especially with the raping Tom, the Barge of the Dead, and the Extreme Risk shit. But here's a couple other ones just to pad out the list. Being so angry in random thoughts that the people needed to lobotomize her. They're like, we can't have angry
It wasn't
thoughts.
that she was exceptionally angry. It's just that she was a normal, reasonable amount of angry.
But
for
she
a
was
Klingon.
so angry. I don't know. I find that whole concept is just so bizarre and poorly communicated and all this shit that I wanted to put it on the list because it's ridiculous. Oh gosh, this one. Okay, so in fucking Muse, when I forget the name of the poet guy has made a little fanfic of Voyager.
Yeah.
And B'Elanna goes
yeah.
and breaks the hell out of the Prime Directive by beaming out in front of them as the climax of his play, just so her character won't get killed off. Fucking vain much, B'Elanna. Holy
I
shit.
can't think of a better reason, to be honest.
And I need one more. You know what? I'm actually gonna put one of the good ones on my bad list because I think that the whole debate in Nothing Human was B'Elanna kind of being a baby because you know what? If you're gonna die because you don't want a fucking hologram working on you, then fucking goddamn it, B'Elanna. I didn't care for it. I thought her motivation that whole episode long was strange.
Well, it was, yeah, I agree. I think I agree with you. I think it's less about the fact that the hologram looked like this Cardassian piece of shit, but also that the treatment that would, help her, that would get the alien monster off of her, was derived through unethical means.
Yeah,
right?
But like so many other medical knowledge that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually jokingly wrote that down as a dishonorable mention too, since I wrote it down as a good one. Like, oh, she stuck to her guns, but like also what an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, really, it is what an idiot, because, like, do you know how fucking, like, the medical practice works? Like, they did this shit all the time.
Yeah, and, like, if we just, like, I think we talked about this when we discussed the episode.
We did,
like,
I think, yeah.
If we just, like, outright banned all medical treatments that were
that the Nazis did? Yeah.
Well, right, like, a lot of that, or, there's a lot of stuff that we know because of, like, really horrible, unethical shit, but it actually, today, it's, it helps people. So the question, I guess, is like, okay, do you not use it because it like promotes the idea of unethical medical experimentation, or are you like, honoring the admittedly unwilling sacrifices of the people that suffered under that unethical experimentation by using that knowledge for future good?
Yeah, and it struck me as kind of Torres just being willfully naive in that whole thing, because it's like, yes, I'm specifically not going to understand what you're talking about because I don't want to, because it doesn't, frame my personal opinion. And it's like, you know what, Torres, maybe you should get killed.
Again, it's kind of like with Lineage, where it's like, I get why you're this way, but stop and think for a minute.
Yeah.
Which makes her, I think, believable. I think we all fall into that sometimes, where we just, like, have to actually stop and think and get past, I do have a dishonorable mention.
Oh?
Ames, you're already aware of this one because we talked about it. Not spacing Max back at the academy.
Oh, fucking Max.
Like,
hey, BLT!
Like, all the things she gets mad about, and she didn't kill him for that. And also, like, yeah, you couldn't have known exactly what was going to go wrong with him, but that boy just radiates Badmiral energy. Like, he needed to be cut off at the pass.
Aw, but he was so cute.
He was a dick.
I have a good honorable mention, and that's for all the constant making out with Tom in the middle of engineering.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Let's bang in engineering. Guys, there's not walls in here. They can hear us from downstairs. Stop it.
How many times did they crack that fucking glass floor?
Ooh.
Why do they have a glass floor?
So you can look up women's skirts, if you're on the bottom level. Just look up.
That's why they wear pants now.
If you're looking up
That's
women's skirts, you truly are on the bottom level.
That's where Vorik works.
Ugh.
That's why they gotta bring back the scant, so that, pervs that are trying to see panties actually just see boxers.
Pervs who are trying to see panties.
You're assuming they wear underwear under the scant. I always assumed it was a
free
kilt
ballin'?
style. Yeah.
Well, I assume that everyone in Starfleet has to wear those big diaper panties that Uhura wore, men and women.
Well.
Sorry,
I didn't. Sorry, that was just yeah. Does anyone have anything else, or should I bring us home?
Let's bring us home.
Alrighty. Well, this has been episode 357 of A Star to Steer Her By. Thank you very much for joining us. Next week, fuck it, we're interrupting Enterprise again.
Fuck Enterprise.
Last time it was because the calendar lined up. This time it makes thematic sense because we are looking at Gattaca.
Yay! Oh man, I've been so meaning to do Gattaca, and now we're gonna, and I'm so happy.
Holy shit, what's Gattaca? When are we watching that?
Next week.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. So
is it a movie or a show? How much do I have to watch?
Just a movie.
It's a movie with Jude Law and Uma Thurman.
Oh, that's right. You were talking about Jude Law earlier.
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, it's a pretty cast. So yeah, look forward to that. Follow us on the Facebook and the SoundCloud, and wherever you listen to your what the fuck are these called? Podcasts. The Tumblr, where all these articles go, and our little ups and downs and tops and bottoms and hooly what's it. And Jesus, not too terribly long from now, our Enterprise fanfics, God save us.
Ooh.
So look forward to all of that. This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
And this is always me, Jake.
See, I think the biggest missing element. Ow! I hurt myself again by moving my arm. Okay, let me try that again without moving it.
Doctor, it hurts when I move my arm like this. Well, don't move your arm like that.
Yep, that's the point. Thanks, Phlox.
Give me that celery.